Hello, I'm Rayna Long, your wayfaring woman, and thank you for checking in with us today on Hotel Home. Today, my special guest is Emily Hack. Hi, Emily. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Now, how long have you been living on the road?
This will be my 6th year.
6 years. You must get pretty tired of delivery, pizza, and room service after 6 years.
Yeah, I do.
Is that what inspired you to start coming up with your hotel cookbook?
Well, eating out all the time is not very cost effective, and it's not very healthy, and honestly, you just get the same thing over and over again. So, we started cooking more in our room, because obviously the grocery store is a lot cheaper, and I'm cooking for myself and my roommate, so, and I like to cook.
That's great, but in a lot of hotels, especially in the U.S., we don't always have any appliances. Sometimes we don't even have a refrigerator. So how do you go about cooking in that environment?
We travel our own kitchen.
Oh!
I always bring a rice cooker. And if there's space, sometimes we'll have a George Foreman. For a while, I even traveled an Igloo camping cooler that we could plug in. But in a pinch, a recycling bucket filled with ice will make for a pretty good refrigerator.
Oh, I've done that with a sink before. It doesn't hold very much, though.
No.
Oh, okay. So your appliance of choice is a rice cooker?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what makes that different from, say, a crock pot?
It doesn't take as long as a crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
A crock pot is probably just as versatile as a rice cooker, but it's heavier and takes up more space in your luggage generally, where we have a 6-cup rice cooker, which is just about perfect for 2 people.
Oh, excellent. So when you're traveling around, are there different things that you travel with you or that you specifically buy on location after you get there? How do you decide?
Well, it just depends on where you're going and what part of the world you're going to be in, because you always want the foods from home.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I think we're on week 6 in Japan, and their spices are not always the same as our spices. So we bring some of our own spices along. I always travel garlic salt, salt and pepper you can pretty much find anywhere, Italian seasoning, some lemon pepper, and some dill, just so we have some variation in flavors. And usually in grocery stores you can get things like olive oil to use, and produce is easy to find. You always know what you're getting. But those are some basics that we usually start with.
What are some of the staples that you make in your room?
We do a lot of soups because they're really easy. A lot of pasta is really easy in the rice cooker. So those are some of the things that are our fastest go-tos. Mm-hmm. Now, some of the things we also bring from home that make some really quick meals are things like instant mashed potatoes and stuffing and some soup mixes, just to get us started and have some quick and easy things ready to go.
And those are also pretty light, so they shouldn't add too much to your weight if you're going overseas.
Exactly.
Ah, excellent. So I'm excited for you to come out with your cookbook, but I was hoping that you would share one of your recipes with us today.
Well, I think today we're going to try and make chicken and dumplings, which is not something you'd probably traditionally find in a rice cooker, but pretty much anything you can make on a stove, you can make in a rice cooker. So we're going to give it a shot.
All right.
Okay, so here we are. You're going to make chicken and dumplings in the hotel room in a rice cooker. And you have a whole smorgasbord laid out here. What is all of this?
Well, we've already got chicken boiling in the rice cooker. And we've added some carrots and some onion, which we bought locally. And next we're going to make the dumplings to go in with it once the chicken is boiled. And then we'll create our sauce with the milk and butter and a little bit of soup mix, just to give it a little bit more flavor.
Excellent. And the chicken is boiling over yonder on the floor because of the lack of plugs in this room. So we have everything a little spread out. Did you think of anything else that will help our viewers cook in their rooms? Especially if they don't have room for appliances.
If you don't have room for appliances, you can still do a lot of cooking in your room. I think you'd be surprised if you're willing to work with some unconventional things. Most hotels have coffee pots or coffee makers, and you can boil eggs in a coffee maker once you get the water hot enough. Or I've done omelets in little plastic baggies in the hot coffee pot as well.
Oh.
Just has to get hot enough to boil and cook it.
And it doesn't melt the plastic bag?
Or you can use the iron. You wrap a grilled cheese sandwich or a cheese sandwich in some tin foil. Use the iron. You can get it pretty hot. I've even used the hair dryer to heat up leftovers. So you use what's at hand and you use what you've got.
I think once when we made spaghetti, we even used the sink and poured hot water in and just put the glass jar of sauce in the sink to warm it up while we were making our pasta in a hot pot.
You make use of what's available.
A little bit of everything. Okay, so what step are we on now? What are we going to do next?
Okay, now we're going to make the dumplings. So I did find some pancake mix locally, which we're going to mix with a little bit of water and a little bit of milk, and make up our dumplings.
All right. Because you're going to boil this in the broth from the chicken and vegetables?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I'm probably going to have to strain the chicken and vegetables in order to get everything out. So I'm going to need a bigger bowl for that. I'm going to transfer this into a smaller bowl.
Okay. What's our next step here?
Okay, so we boiled the chicken and the carrots and the onions and took that out, and we've got our water starting to boil again. Actually, and here I've mixed up some of the pancake mix with salt and a little bit of milk and water, which we're going to drop into the boiling stock from that.
And that included a little of the garlic salt for a little extra flavor too. Okay.
So we're just going to drop spoonfuls in to make our dumplings. And then we'll let those boil for a little while.
Do you have a specific size measuring spoon that you use for this, or it doesn't matter?
No, it's generic Japanese spoon.
Oh. Sorry, it looks specific for measuring.
No, not at all.
What do you think is the largest group that you can feed using your carry-on kitchen?
I did Thanksgiving dinner once.
Oh.
For about 10 of us. But we did do that in a crock pot. So we had the rice cooker, the crock pot, which is probably a medium-sized one, and the George Foreman. So we had a little bit more stuff.
So that would be something to aim for if we're not flying.
Right. Okay. Let those boil.
All right. Very exciting.
So our dumplings are pretty well cooked. They've been going for, I don't know, probably 10, 12 minutes. So we're going to fish them out and then use the hot water. Add in some milk and some butter in order to make the sauce before we put everything back together in order to make our chicken and dumplings. So we're getting real close. So here's kind of the consistency that the dumplings turned out.
Now when this is done, is it more of a soup?
It's more of a casserole consistency than a soup.
Okay.
A little bit thicker than a soup. Because we've also got the stock from the chicken that we boiled earlier. That's in here. So it's thickening up already because some of the flour came out of the dumplings.
So right now we have kind of a roux consistency.
Yeah. Okay, I'm actually turning the heat down on this. Put some more milk in. We bought milk in single serving containers because one of the other challenges of cooking on the road is that it has to go from city to city, and it's not possible to bring a gallon of milk from city to city, nor practical. So we just buy in small containers as we can.
Do you have problems needing to buy things like...
Ooh.
Oh, goodness. How is exciting. Do you have problems with needing to buy, like, mustard and ketchup in every city, or
Yeah. We do kind of cheat on some of those things.
Mhm.
When we go out to dinner, if there are single serving ketchup containers, we might take a few more than we actually put on our hot dogs and bring them with us so that we don't have to buy bottles all the time.
Are there any other things that... Well, is there anything that you feel like you need to purchase in every city?
Probably the thing that we purchase most consistently is butter.
Mm.
Because it's hard to travel and doesn't keep well out of refrigeration. So, small container that we can find and keep buying it over and over.
Is that something that you could usually use olive oil for, or
It just
there are
depends
some
what you're
recipes
making.
you just...
Yeah. Some recipes just need butter.
How do you go about finding some of these? And this past year, we've been to several countries in South America. We've been to Puerto Rico. We've been to Japan. We've been to Taiwan. How do you go about finding these staples that we have in the U.S. in other countries? I mean, not everything says butter here.
No. Trial and error. Usually you figure out, I always try and get a dictionary for whatever language the country is and look up what I'm trying to find.
Or use your context clues, like on your milk.
Right.
That has, I don't know if you can see this, there's a cow on the milk.
But we weren't entirely certain whether we were getting milk or cream. But we guessed right.
1 point for us.
Let's see. Need some spices.
All right. So this is your Italian seasoning?
Mm-hmm.
And is that what you buy it as, or do you mix it yourself?
It's easiest just to buy it as Italian.
Like a Mrs. Dash kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Is that more garlic?
More garlic salt.
No vampires here.
No.
And then are you going to put this mix in there too?
I haven't decided yet. Depends on whether or not I think it needs it.
Is this potato with meat?
Whenever I find a brand of soup mix that I like, I'll just buy a bunch of them and travel it with us. I think those are some we probably picked up in South America. We liked it when we used it, so we bought more.
So these are things that are easy to travel and you were hoping will last.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out if this is in Spanish or Portuguese. Who knows? Oh, and if you were making this as a cup, you'll need to cook it for 50 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Because we bought frozen peas, they've been sitting out for, I don't know, probably an hour or so now. So they're not frozen, but I didn't feel like they needed to go in with the chicken, so we're going to toss them in now. If I can get them open. No. I'm grabbing a knife. Or cut it open on the cutting board. I might need to do some more editing.
Yeah.
But I like my button shut.
Oh, very cool. And as you can see from the variety of colors here, not only are you saving some money by cooking in the room and making this delicious fresh meal, but there's also a lot of color, and that makes it a little healthier for you.
I think we are pretty close.
This is one of the things that I don't like about living in hotels, is you can only wash your dishes in the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Actually, it needs a little more salt. I like my things pretty salty. So why don't you taste it and tell me what you think?
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. No more?
It's good.
No? Okay. So I think we're ready to put the dumplings and the chicken back in.
Okay.
You reheat it and serve it.
How are we going to do that? Is it all going to fit?
We'll see.
All right. Here's to hoping. Now, how big did you say this rice cooker is?
This is a 6-cup rice cooker.
6 cups.
And they're really pretty affordable. I think this is only like $25.
And you got this one in the U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget, if you're going outside the U.S., you may also need a adapter or a, what am I thinking, voltage changer?
Converter.
Voltage converter, especially if you're going to a country that has 220 electricity in all their outlets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks pretty.
Thanks. It'll fit. All right.
Okay.
We'll let that chicken reheat for a couple minutes and put it on the plates.
All right. I'm excited. And here we are with our finished product. Please, if I can move this without spilling it. Here's our finished chicken and dumplings with a side of fruit. So it's a well-rounded, healthy meal that we made right in the room. And Emily, I have some utensils right here.
All right.
Let's take a taste of this. I'm very excited. Oh, that's good. I can definitely taste the Italian spice. That was delicious.
Project success.
Mm-hmm. It's even delicious on my arm. So that was amazing. Thank you for coming on our show today. And I think we're going to go and eat some of this and go find the boys to eat some of it with us. And thank you again for checking in with us on Hotel Home. And may you always travel home.